Hey y'all, it's your girl SeekretD. So I'm actually not going to recap this letter, but I'm going to touch on the topic that Steve touched on after reading this letter, which I feel like I could have already done a video on this topic, but it was so funny because Steve was like, oh, we never touched on this topic before, but I feel like it's a very familiar topic. So basically the letter was saying that this lady believes that her husband is getting old too fast. I think she's 48, he's 52. She said that they used to have sex multiple times a week and that has stopped and they don't have sex anymore. She said that he basically stopped asking her, and she told him that she wants to be pursued daily with the option to tell him no. And basically he's not pursuing anymore and she don't like that. So that's why I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do this whole letter like I said, because that was a topic at hand. So Steve touched on the fact that women like this lady like to be pursued just so they can say no, and he don't understand why they think that's cute, right? So for me, I feel like I get it, because he said, you know, if a man gets turned down over and over and over and over, it does something to his self-esteem, it does something to him. And if he gets turned down at a time where he really feels like that's what he needs, like he needs intimacy, sex from his wife, partner, whatever, and she keeps turning him down, then that kills a part of him, and then he doesn't want to ask anymore. So this is very familiar to me because I dated someone who I guess I went through this type of situation with. You driving mad slow. Why don't you just move? You was like, what are people doing? Anyway, so I dated a guy who, I feel like when I say this next part, y'all gonna kind of figure out, or maybe not, because it could be two guys. Either way, I dated a guy who, after I had a baby, kept pressuring me about sex. Now, I had already had 1 or 2 babies. We're not giving it away. And I had a harder time recovering. I've had 3 C-sections, for those of you who don't know. And obviously each time the recovery is going to be a little bit harder, because you also have to tend to a child or children while you're recovering from the birth, as opposed to the first time. So with this being said, I didn't have sex for months after each of my pregnancies. Some longer than others, but either way, months, until I felt like I was physically ready, which I've heard people, you know, go to their 6-week checkup, which they tell you not to have sex in that 6 weeks, or 8 weeks if you have a C-section, and be pregnant. I don't understand how the fuck y'all do that. Ain't no dick in the world gonna make me risk my life and infection and all of that good stuff. And not to mention the pain, especially after a C-section or whatever. I don't know what y'all made out of, whatever. That's fine. So, boom. He told me that one time I asked him if all he ever thought about was sex. And that one time made him not want to initiate sex anymore. He's like, one time he was trying to have sex with me, and I don't even think this was baby related, because it happened 2 different times with this person. And the first time, I think I was like coming from work or whatever, and I don't know about y'all, but when I get home from work, get in from work, whatever, I want to shower before I have sex. I don't want to have sex with the day on my body. I can't relax. I'm gonna feel like I'm funky. I cannot have sex comfortably right after coming in from work. So no, I don't want you kissing on me and shit like that. I don't want to wash my ass, right? So I feel like he had an issue with that. So from then, you know, we went through a period where we barely had sex, because he was not initiating sex as much. I initiated sex, but not that often, because I've mentioned it before, I'm not a person that needs to have sex. I really just don't. I really don't. And it's never been a problem for me in relationships, because I usually let the guy lead, and he kind of tells me what he needs, and I kind of go off of that. So with that being said, he didn't initiate, and neither did I. You know, I did occasionally, but not that often. But then I also didn't initiate sex because he didn't initiate sex. Because for me, I just felt like, okay, if you're not initiating sex, then you must not want to have sex. And so I had a conversation with him, and he basically told me like, oh, because that one time you asked me if all I ever think about is sex, I made myself not want to have sex with you because I was like yearning to have sex with you, and you know, I like wanted you, and blah 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 blah, whatever. So the reason why I call bullshit, right? Not that I'm diminishing feelings, and this happened twice. So this happened on 2 separate occasions on 2 different time periods of our relationship. We shouldn't even made it to the second one, but either way, it happened 2 different times, same type of situation. One was like, you know, after work, I was really not trying to be touched and felt up on, and the other one was after I had a baby. Now, for me, I feel like if either of those 2 situations, it should be understandable. Like, after I have a baby, let me let you know when my body is ready to have sex again. You know what I mean? I don't understand what's so difficult about that. What's so hard to understand, especially since I was sexual during pregnancy. So it's not like it was one of those pregnancies where it was like, don't touch me. It was different. Either way, it was more of a pregnancy of, you know, can I get laid? Like, shit. So it was never that. So, you know, because some people are like, oh, well, after you're pregnant, you know, you gotta, no. I was not on bed rest. I didn't have none of them issues. So it wasn't like you was so sex deprived that you was gonna die, right? Now, the thing is this. We had a conversation. He said, oh, you said this and this is why that. And you made me feel like, you know, you don't really want to have sex with me and this, that, and the third. And I explained where it came from. I explained we had a conversation. We talked through it and I thought it was solved. Issue went on for probably like damn near another year. Again, conversation. Same thing. It gets better. I get pregnant. And then had the baby. I said, you know, dang, I'm tired. Like, I'm fucking tired. We have an infant. So, no, as soon as I walk in the house with this infant, with my breastfeeding boobs, do I want to be pawed on? Like, hello? So again, we revisit the same shit, even though we had this fucking conversation like 5 times. So while I have learned to respect how people feel and to be mindful of how people feel and to have conversations on needs and wants in relationships, I also don't like this excuse of, oh, well, you keep turning me down, so I stop asking. You either want to have sex or you don't. And if me saying, you know, I don't want to have sex tonight, once in a blue, for me personally, it's usually once in a blue. It's not like all the time. If that's going to make you say, oh, well, I don't feel like having sex. Personally, I thought he was fucking somebody else. Probably was at this point, because now, no. But I don't really see how me saying no once in a blue will lead to you just not initiating sex at all and making me feel like something's wrong with me when I know ain't shit wrong with me. Either way, y'all can let me know how y'all feel. Guys, y'all can chime in on, you know, how y'all feel about being rejected for sex during sexual advances. And this is like in relationship. I'm not going to say like some random, because I feel like if you're not really with somebody and they rejecting you, you shouldn't feel no kind of way, because what are you doing? So, guys, y'all can let me know how y'all feel about it. Women, y'all can let me know if y'all ever experienced it. And anybody can give me your thoughts about it or anything else y'all think I should discuss. And that's all she wrote. All right, bye.